Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard at Cisneros at your service. Today I'll be reading the June 4th Daily Inspirational Message. The condensed version is 2 paragraphs long. Then I'll center myself, say a little prayer, and then make a couple comments on the message. And if you find the message of use, please be so kind as to like the video. Thank you for that. Here we go. The title: Reinterpreting the Act of Anger. Paragraph 1. We are always unconscious as we may be of it, working towards achieving a more balanced, peaceful, and joyful life. So let us be grateful, not judgmental of self and others, when we're being offered the opportunities to choose and thus reinforce the states of being that we would like to have in our lives. Let us not get discouraged if our road from anger to peace does not appear to be a straight line. Like rivers that flow naturally towards the sea, it is in our life's twists and turns where so much of its beauty resides. And just like rivers, we each end up where we belong at our own sacred pace and time. Today, if others offer us opportunities to deal with our anger, let us be grateful to them. In truth, they are offering us opportunities to practice choosing forgiveness over anger and thus peace over pain. Paragraph 2. Today, if we feel anger begin to surface, let us stop and recognize that reacting in this manner has never brought us the peace of mind and joy we want. Then let us recall that because God is love and all, every step along our journey is used by God for good. Yes, yes, each step, no matter how much the ego has programmed us to judge it, is leading us to conscious reunion with our all-loving source, and thus with a state of peace and joy. On the surface, it might not always look this way, but it is always so. Today, notice that when you trust the divine in a challenging situation, your frustrations and anger diminish, and when you don't, your frustrations and anger seem to increase. Today, trust in the divine design more than your programmed anger response. Do so, and anger will begin to dissolve and fade away before your light and understanding. All right, reinterpreting the act of anger. Okay, today I'm going to make 5 points that I trust will assist both of us in the implementation of this daily inspiration. Okay, point number 1. First, let us trust in the divine design. Let us trust that God is love in all, and that we, our highest self, has co-created with the divine design with perfection the journey we are now on, the perfect journey for us. And so in point number 1, whenever we have that anger response, we just wait for a second. Okay, this is an anger response. It doesn't seem too good right now, but I know that I've co-created my journey with God, and therefore I'm going to use this anger response in some way, shape, or form to help me grow, heal, and awaken. Therefore, I'm not going to punish myself for this. I'm just going to realize what's really happening here. This is happening for me, not to me. That's point number 1. Point number 2. Let us remember, because this is a divine design in place for us, and it's perfect for us, that every time we react with anger, because anger is not the truth in us, only the loving light that God created us to be is the truth in us. So when something unloving in nature occurs, such as an anger response, let us simply recognize that the more we use the anger response, the more we see how unlike the anger response is to the truth in us. And so the more we get to practice responding with anger, we start to see, you know what, this just doesn't feel right. It doesn't get me anywhere near the state of peace. So why, if my function in this world is to be the light of the world, a loving light in this world, and peace is one of those expressions and reflections of that love, if I'm responding with anger, anger obviously does not deliver to me the state of peace. And the more I do so, the more I see that it's not delivering to me what I want. So why continue to support a response that does not deliver to you the peace you want? And so see, even by responding with anger, we get we get closer and closer to seeing that this is not what we want. And when we realize what we don't want, and we can cross those responses off our maps, then we can start getting a better understanding of what it is that we truly want. Is there not a better way to respond to this situation? That can lead me back to the state of peace. And so in point number 2, we don't punish ourselves for being angry. We just see that, you know what? These situations are just showing me what I don't want. And that's getting me closer to the understanding of what it is I truly want. Okay. Point number 3. Because anger, in the anger response is showing us what we do not want, what would be the proper response to those individuals or those situations that are seeming to cause in us the anger response? The appropriate response to them would be gratitude, because they're showing us what we do not want, which leads us closer to understanding what it is that we do want. And so their participation in our life experience is helping us awaken us to the responses that will get us to the state of peace. And so thank you, person X or Y. Thank you, situation A or B, because you showed me that this anger response is not delivering to me the state of peace. Therefore, I'm now choosing another way, a way that would get me closer to the state of peace. Thank you for that. Thank you for this life experience. That's point number 3. Point number 4. Okay, because again, this is a sacred co-design with the divine, we don't use the anger response to sink us deeper into this darkness. We don't become like some guy walking in a jungle and then hitting some quicksand, because the more we get into this quicksand, the more we try to fight it and put our time and energy into it, the more we sink into it. So anger is the same way. If you put your time, focus, and energy into the anger, guess what? You become more depressed, more distressed. You buy more into the delusions and into the darkness of the ego's past programs. And so we don't want to use anger for that. We want to use anger to trigger in us the response or the understanding that there must be a better way to deal with this situation. And so we practice doing the opposite of what the ego demands. When the ego demands anger, we say, okay, I guess it's nowhere near peace. Let me try forgiveness instead. And then we start to see, forgiveness, compassion, understanding. These responses get me closer to the state of peace, to being the loving light of the world that God created me to be. And so I'm not going to use anger anymore. I'm not going to focus my time and energy on it. I'm instead going to use it as a trigger, to trigger in me the response of forgiveness, the response of compassion, the response of understanding, because I know those responses lead me closer to the state of peace, where I belong, as the loving light in this world. And so in point number 4, we simply do not punish ourselves for being angry. We just use it as a trigger. And point number 5 is to recall the sacred circle in all things, the divine design in all things. Okay, we experienced anger. We reacted with anger. We reacted with anger over and over again. But little by little, we started to see this is not what we want. And we started overcoming that challenge or that darkness through the act of forgiveness, through compassion, through understanding. And so we now get that life experience. And we put that life experience in our spiritual tool belt that we can now use to help others remove themselves from the delusion of anger. And so you see, we use anger and the experience of anger not to punish ourselves or others, but as a way to learn about who we are not and who we truly are, a way to remove ourselves from the darkness, from the ego's delusions, back into the light in us. And when we have that journey, when we understand that journey from darkness to the light, from fear to love, from judgment to forgiveness, now we can teach our brothers and sisters how to remove themselves from that anger. But it was only because of our life experience that now we can offer it to our brothers and sisters. And so those experiences that the ego would have you put yourself down for, to judge yourself for, because you were being less than loving, no. That's just a life experience that we experienced, we overcame, we realigned with the light in us, And now we can teach others how to remove themselves from the darkness and back and to reunite with the light in them. Thanks to our life experience. Thanks to those spiritual tool belts that our challenges, overcoming our challenges, have allowed us to obtain. And so in point number 5, we just understand that this anger response is just part of a greater circle where you respond with anger. Then you see this anger is not what you want. Then you find another way to respond, such as through forgiveness and compassion. And then you start to teach others how to respond in those situations with forgiveness and compassion and understanding. And once you show them how to respond to those situations with love instead of fear, then you start to realize why you went through that anger response in the first place, why you went through your challenging time in the first place, so that you can deliver to yourself those spiritual tools that you can help others heal. And then God will send you those individuals who are dealing with anger to you because he knows that you have the spiritual tools to help them awaken to who they truly are. All right, thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. If you can be so kind as to like this video or leave me a comment, that would be lovely. And God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Peace.